Hey guys, welcome back to Jordan Samuel Skin Talks. I sound so redundant sometimes. Maybe to myself because I'm doing this back to back to back to back. And to you, you're like, oh, that's fun, he's back. And I'm like, I'm bored with myself. Cheers with tea. Should be a martini like I said earlier. Q&A time. It's April, it's time for Q&A. You might be over it with the Q&A, but I found that actually most of you guys want a Q&A because there's so many questions out there. Even if the answers are duplicate or the questions are duplicate, I think it's good to constantly repeat things. I also think the skincare world is constantly changing, so I'm constantly learning things. Things are constantly evolving. Chemistry is constantly evolving. Facial treatments and procedures and plastic surgery and Botox and fillers and everything is constantly changing. So I think it's good to sort of reassess constantly with Q&A and answer questions, and if something is corrected, or needs correcting, follow up with that. Anyway, let's get started, shall we? So the first two questions I asked, right out, well the first two questions. The first two answers, wow. I asked you guys to send me your questions. The first two questions I received, different but similar. So recommendations for rosacea, please. And then the other one was broken capillaries on the face. Similar but different. Now, with true rosacea, you need to see your doctor, dermatologist. Like if you came in and said, treat my rosacea, I could not treat your rosacea. We could give you a nice facial and I could give you some tips and tricks, which I will give you today, but I would still say go to your dermatologist because if it needs medication, they will be able to prescribe medication, etc. But there are certain things rosacea needs. A lot of it I find is avoidance of internal triggers, acids, red wine, tomatoes, pineapple even, unfortunately, coffee, chocolate, I'm missing things, alcohol, I know, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, white wine even, I said red wine, but red wine's I find to be a little bit worse for some people, spicy foods, but what I found interesting with rosacea is that, and this is my opinion, or my, what I've seen. It's not scientific facts by any means, so don't take it as that. But it's the same thing in Ayurveda medicine when they talk about certain types, doshas, when they're out of balance, they're attracted to, or they gravitate to what's really bad for them. So I'm like a fire, a pitta, and I love, when I'm technically out of balance, I gravitate towards those things, like spicy foods, all of that stuff. I also have sensitivities on my skin, not rosacea, but broken capillaries. And I find that a lot of people who come in who have rosacea or who have extreme broken capillaries on the skin, I'll say things like avoid red wine. They're like, I love red wine, avoid spicy food. I love spicy food, avoid tomatoes. I love tomatoes, avoid coffee. I love coffee. So I have found that people who have that on my treatment table, in my treatment room, also like those things, that's a bad sort of cycle then at that point. But I would say avoid those things or minimize them as much as possible. At one point, Narita Joy had said to me, and she was like, this is just a feeling. She was massaging my skin, heat was coming off of my skin. She was like, avoid tomatoes. I don't know why, but I have this very strong sense that you need to avoid tomatoes. And when I do avoid tomatoes, I'm Italian, so listen, there is a reality here. But when I avoid and I'm making tomatoes, I feel like I film all the time and talk about not eating tomatoes and then making a tomato sauce tonight, which I'm making tonight. Anyway, but when I do really, really reduce that, I've noticed a huge, a very, very marked noticeable difference in my skin. So proof is in the pudding. Other things for rosacea, besides going to a dermatologist and getting help with medication, is avoid any extreme water temperatures. Avoid extremely hot and avoid extremely cold, at all costs. You want it lukewarm. Keep your face out of the shower if you do want it a little bit warmer on your body. Avoid steam. I would never steam anybody in a facial with rosacea. Don't do any self-steaming. Avoid scrubbing. Avoid, you can still do retinols, you can still do acids, but do very low percentages, very infrequently. Basically, don't overstimulate the skin. It's going to be the same for broken capillaries, except if it is just strictly broken capillaries, same thing. You just won't need to necessarily be on medication. But avoid scrubbing, avoid extreme water temperatures, avoid all of those acidic things. Sun, of course. So of course the obvious one I don't mention, but sun exposure. Find a sunscreen that works. Probably a physical block is going to work for you, not a chemical block. If a chemical block works, that's great, but chances are you'll probably be sensitive to it. Look for zinc. The tinted ones seem to be, more to people's liking because their face won't be white. But that is what I would say in terms of that. Moving on. So little things. So I know that was like avoid this, avoid that, avoid that. Gentle cleansing that you can rinse. Don't muslin cloth your face. Don't washcloth your face. Don't washcloth your face. But you get it. Avoid stimulation. Gentle, 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 gentle. Gentle. That's all I have to say about that. And avoid those acidic things. This one was, what do you do for a bad reaction to a mask? I still have a red patch after 6 months. Dermatologist gave me low dose cortisone for area on face. It has not worked. Had 2 facials and the person would not advise. Well, that gets a little tricky. So reactions can last a while. I mean, it's the same thing as having an acne mark and having that post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, and it just doesn't go away. And sadly, it gets a little bit worse as we age, that process of healing. So that's a bummer. But 6 months is a while. You're going to want to maybe go to a dermatologist or a medical esthetician just to see if there's not any, I don't want to say permanent damage, but like long-term damage where like you might need to get, and of course I'm not seeing a photo of this, so who knows if you need to get like a little blast of like IPL or even LED light, which will be much lighter, but that could help. Especially if the cortisone isn't helping, you don't want to be on that for a long, long time. But I would go back and say like, it's still here. Gentle products, wear your sunscreen. A lot of people think they're good about their sunscreen and they're not. And that's a huge tip for this and for post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. Chances are this reaction is an inflammatory response. And so you're going to want to protect your skin with sunscreen, with antioxidants, things like that. Somebody asked, what do I think about LED devices in therapy? There should be a video, this is up in April, so in March there was an LED light video that I will either link below or I won't. It's as simple as that. But maybe at the end you will see it. I love LED devices. At-home devices, the only thing is the frequency is a little bit weaker and the amount of lights are less than a professional device. So you just have to if you get one, use it regularly. That is like it. Otherwise it won't work. But if you're using it regularly, they're brilliant. Especially red light for inflammation, for regeneration, for helping to build collagen in the skin, and blue light for killing bacteria and taking down inflammation. Blue light's amazing for acne. I've seen a lot of great results with that in my practice. Tea break. Did I open my mouth as I was pouring it in, so I almost spilled it everywhere. Okay, so I really like this question, but I don't think anybody's gonna like the answer. How to prevent products from pilling. They've been recommended to me in a particular order, so I don't want to divert from that order. Also SPF pilling. So here's the thing. Pilling, at first it was like, when I started working with chemists and formulating products, I was like, oh, it's this ingredient for sure that's like causing the pilling. And then it'd be like, oh, but it doesn't pill on me. Why does it pill on them? And they'd be like, oh, they're mixing it with this product. Then it was like, oh, it seems like silicones and like this don't work. And then it would be like, but it would work on somebody else. So then it was like, well, this doesn't make sense. So essentially, there's no answer. However, what I have found is certain skin, I don't want to even say types, but there will be times when I'm doing massage, layering my own products in a facial, and it will pill. Next client, same exact product, same exact layered, no pilling. So on and so forth. Their face has been double cleansed, They have the same products on. They have close to the same skin type and skin condition, maybe a little bit different. So that was sort of my aha moment of, yes, you can go by the book and see like this ingredient might react with this ingredient, but it also is you. What about that? I don't know. But for instance, SPF, I have not found an SPF that does not pill. Specifically, if it has zinc in it, I think that is just the nature of the ingredient. I don't personally use nano-sized zinc, nor would I recommend it really, so I can't speak to that, but micronized and regular zinc, coated or uncoated, both pill. I think it's unfortunately the nature of the ingredient in SPF. It also might be a lot of SPFs put silicones in. I think it's just hard. I think we're just using so many different products at different times, mixed in with different things. And I think for each person, the trigger could be a different ingredient. I found for me, I know some people get pilling with hydrate. I do not. I know others who do not. I also personally get pilling from every SPF I used. So I always get what I call so rudely cut off. I think the camera's just like, shh. Anyway, so yeah, the pilling thing, I think there's going to be people that can give you, and I actually used to give people answers because I thought it was a specific ingredient, which I certainly think it still is, but to not be an alarmist, it doesn't matter anymore because I've seen it work without that ingredient, and I've even used something as straightforward as just a rosehip oil on somebody, like if they're super, super sensitive in facials and I don't want to layer much, and like that and like an aloe or rose water, if I'm keeping it extremely simple during the massage process, that has even pilled up on people's skin. So, and again, like I'm saying, that's on a naked skin. That's after 2 cleanses with removal with either microfiber cloths or muslin cloths or towel. Like, I know, it's annoying. Somebody asked, which I love this, I'm gonna try to answer this briefly so this isn't like a super long, well maybe, no. Maybe I'll elaborate, and if it's long, we'll do 2 videos. What are the products we absolutely need? There are serums, essences, treatments, hydration, exfoliants, mists. It's too much and I just have a few minutes to slap stuff on my face and go to sleep. Which, I love that question. I mean, let's just keep it real, right? So, you obviously need to cleanse your skin. You obviously need to exfoliate your skin. And you obviously need to protect your skin from the sun. So in terms of like, the main, I would say that's sort of it. You have to cleanse your skin. You really should be cleansing twice a day, and Nerida has also said this, and if not, you're cleansing at night. And if you're wearing makeup, probably a double cleanse is appropriate for you. Exfoliation, that depends on the type of exfoliant you're using and how much how much your skin can take. But exfoliation, 2 to 3 times a week. If you are using something like a light muslin cloth, you can do that nightly, but then I wouldn't recommend acids on top of that, and then you're just doing a physical surface exfoliation, which is great, but it's not going to help with things like pigmentation and scarring and stuff like that, but that's a whole nother topic. But exfoliation, and then when you're outside, your sunscreen can have a little bit of moisture in it, so then during the day you have a moisturizer that has a sunscreen on and you're great. At nighttime, then I might recommend something like my Hydrate Serum. Of course, I'm going to plug my own products, but if you want to really keep it simple and reduce the amount of products, you need hydration in the skin more than anything. Most people don't need a moisturizer unless you are a true via DNA dry skin that's not dry from the environment or from lifestyle or things like that. I mean, the answer can get loaded because, of course, retinol helps with certain things, but do you need retinol? No, you don't need retinol. But you need to keep your skin in a nice shape. You do need to cleanse it, you do need to exfoliate it, and you do need to protect it from the sun. So that's really the short answer. You could also pump a really great humidifier in your bedroom, and that can help with hydration on your skin too, and you won't need much to apply much at night. Eve Lom, who you guys all know that I love and respect, she's like, cleanse your face at night and leave it, and that's it. I know there's been interviews with another facialist, Isabel Bellis? She's based in New York, she's French, she's lovely. She says a few times a week she doesn't do it every night, but she'll like let her skin, which skin does not breathe, technically. But she lets her skin, what she says, breathe by not putting product on. And the thing is, the skin does know what to do. But if you ever go down that track of trying to like reconfigure your skin and get it sort of back to where your skin's being your skin and it's not needing these Band-Aid products, it's going to take a good 9 weeks for that to happen, maybe even 12, which is that's 3 months, yeah. It doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen in 1 week. You know, a lot of people will tough it out for 1 or 2 weeks and they're like, nah, I have to go back on everything because my skin's not doing well. But your skin knows what to do. We weren't born needing skincare products. It's been this wonderful science that has obviously helped and evolved, and we've seen all these things. But that was a really long, blatty answer to say cleanse, exfoliate, and wear your SPF. Moving on. Okay. Somebody asked, what is the best product to use for daily sun protection after applying your oil, serum, and cream? Well, basically the short answer is any SPF that you actually like wearing. I find that so many people, including myself, so many people are so picky about their SPF that like the ones I recommend, some people love, some people hate, but I recommend them because I love them and I wear them, and they wear well on clients during facials, and they wear well on me. I like a 30 and above. I think we all need a 30 and above now. 30 is good for like a daily city wear. I don't think really anything under than that is, you don't like 30. If you're gonna be like on a beach holiday, you could push it up into the 50s, reapply. If you're not really sweating and exercising, if you have a good base with SPF product, you can get something like the Color Science powder and have that be your touch-up during the day, which those are great. They're slightly tinted, they give a nice finish to the skin, they're an SPF 50, they're not gonna really irritate your skin, so. But something that you enjoy wearing. I know that's sort of a dud of an answer, but it's also personal. It depends on budget, it depends on what you like, it depends on if you can use physical or chemical. Like a lot of people like chemical because it's non-whitening. However, a lot of people can't use chemical because it irritates their skin and creates almost like a contact dermatitis. So there's a lot of options in there. This question, I'm gonna leave because Narrative basically answered it. It's about acids and retinol, and she basically answered it. If it's not exactly to this person's liking, I will go back and answer it later, but alternative antioxidants to vitamin C. I've tried a few dedicated vitamin C products, they just don't agree with me. Yeah, vitamin C is, you know, people are always like, you don't recommend vitamin C. I'm like, I recommend vitamin C, I just personally have had trouble with it, and I've used a lot of really great products. You know, you have your alpha lipoic acid, you have green tea. If you can find a lot of serums with like a high percentage of green tea is wonderful. Olive polyphenols, alpha lipoic acid, like I said, CoQ10. I mean, vitamin E is even one, but you're not really. But there are some actually great vitamin E moisturizers. You don't want to do like a straight vitamin E oil. But so, you know, vitamin E, CoQ10, alpha lipoic acid, olive polyphenols, green tea. I mean, green tea is great. If you can find a serum or a product with a high percentage of green tea, it's lovely. But no, there's many great alternatives. It doesn't just have to be, and I'm missing some, I know, but I can't think right now. But it doesn't just have to be vitamin C. There are other ones that are tried and true as well. What about retinols before 30? I'm 27. Should I start or wait? At 27, you're on the cusp. You could probably start 1 night a week. You don't need to go crazy. It doesn't need to be every night a week. I actually recommend retinols at 28. I know some people say 30. I recommend at 28. That's sort of been found when collagen really starts to slow down for us, which is so sad. But once a week, a low percentage. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be Retin A, it doesn't have to be anything crazy prescription strength. It can be a really light over-the-counter retinol that you use once a week and just get the skin building up, because it does take the skin a while to build up to it too. So my opinion is start, you know, slow and steady wins the race always. Tortoise in the hair. Turtle in the hair. So this person asked about Gua Sha, which I don't have a lot of experience with. A lot of people love it. I've tried it, and sometimes it's a little almost too aggressive for me. I'm sure I'm not doing it right, so that's just me. I've seen people have great results with it and love it. It's been practiced for thousands of years. I think there's something to it. But I don't have enough information to talk about that. and devices such as NuFace or the Dr. Dennis Gross visor thing. Can't remember the name. Well, the visor thing is LED light, which I love LED light for the skin, for around the eye area. Love, love, love LED light. As long as, and like I said earlier in this video, or I'm now lost in time and space, another video, as long as you are using the at-home LED devices, they are great, but they're a little bit weaker in terms of strength and frequency usually, and have less light, so you just need to use it more often. That's it, they're great. The NuFace, I like the NuFace. The thing with microcurrent for me is really similar to LED. I used to do a professional microcurrent treatment, which I do like, but I found if you weren't doing it, if a client wasn't coming in every single week, there was really no point. They would look great. It'd be great to get a treatment before an event, like the same day or the day before, and your skin would be lift and drain and depuffed and looks wonderful, but it didn't last. You know, maybe it lasted a week, 5 days a week, and it didn't matter, like, so that's why they would have to come in every week, so then it just sustained, but that's not, I mean, I'm sure for, you know, Madonna, she could do that, but it's not sustainable for most people. However, NuFace, if you're doing it yourself, like, it's great, but it's just, don't expect miracles. It's just a nice pick-me-up. So, there's that. So this person asks, what to do for oily skin and large pores when you've tried everything with no success? Prescription retinol, all types of acids, niacinamide, zinc. Is it just something I have to accept at this point? I'm 44, so not a teenager. Well, first of all, having that might make you look like a teenager, though, because you can be like, look, I have large pores, I'm a teenager. So there's that. Not that you want to be that. A few things. Depending on, you know, again, a lot of these are loaded without seeing the person in person. But if you're using all of those ingredients at once or trying to, like, you know, sometimes we want so hard to feel like we're doing it and we're making it work, and we do all these things, these acids and prescription retinols, which can actually have a bounce back effect and break down the barrier too much and create, you know, more oil production and actually make the pores look larger after they were probably looking smaller. But you don't want to overdo it to where the barrier is broken down and you're actually looking at the same problem but on the different end of the spectrum. My cat is going crazy, and I swear if this light, which I don't even know how to damn use, breaks, well, the light will just go away because I love my cat. And now he's gonna play with my dinner. So I would say, if it's truly, not about the large pores right now, but about the oil, Narita always talks about oil is from the inside, so you can't really do anything topically to get rid of that oil. You could look at if there are dietary things that are affecting you, you know, maybe consult with a doctor, a dermatologist, see really what that is about. If it is food related, if it is hormonally related, because again, getting to the root of it is what's gonna fix it, not something surface like. With large pores, you might be, you know, you have to clear and clean out the pore to then use an acid or retinol to help keep that pore lining tighter and appear much smaller. So you might need to go in for regular deep cleansing facials and then get something afterwards, like a little bit of acid on wherever they did extractions or wherever your large pores are, and that'll help sort of shrink up the appearance of them. But for the oil, that would be something I would, at this point, if you haven't figured it out, consult with, you know, a dermatologist or a doctor to see if it's hormonally related or food related. Whoa. Let's see. Okay. Best way to treat the under eye area. I have some lines. Is there anything I can do besides fillers? Oh, my cat. Yeah, there are things you can do. You know, something that the under eye area is hard. It is the thinnest skin on our body. Tons of expression lines. I do think, honestly, personally, I think it looks weird when there's no expression lines there. So you don't want to go, I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I do think it looks weird when it's not moving and the eyebrows are touching your head. And I'm so waiting for this light to go, because if you cannot hear my cat in the back, bless him. He's 15, he acts like he's 2, and I love it so much, but he's going nuts. Fillers do help though. I have clients who have had filler under the eye area and I was such like a naysayer and I was like, no, it's not gonna look, and it looks great, so. Something I like doing though is using the right products under the eye area, which a lot of people are scared about oh my God, which a lot of people are scared about sometimes, which are things like vitamin C, retinols, acids, and or SPF. And now there are some companies making specific SPF eye cream, but if your SPF is formulated correctly without fragrance and it's a physical SPF, bring it up under the eye area because that's gonna help the breakdown of collagen. Things that are gonna help, you know, thicken that dermal layer, your retinols, your vitamin C, your acids. I was like, I'm missing one. And there's a lot of eye creams out there now. I know Renee Rouleau has a great new acid eye cream. Those are the things you want. You sort of want those actives under the eye area, but you want them formulated for the eye area, but you don't want to just slap any old retinol on the eye area or vitamin C or acid. So I would look into those things because at home care regimen and with actives is going to be the most important for you. And then protecting the skin with an SPF. You can find an SPF specific eye cream, but you can also just use a regular SPF. One that is already working for your skin, and don't take it, you know, you're taking it to the orbital bone, it is going to migrate up. So you don't want to put it way up there and then all of a sudden you're tearing, your eyes are puffy and irritated. But there is, you know, slow and steady again, but using right actives formulated for the eye area will help that. I like this. What do you think Middle Eastern skin, I assume, or people in the Middle East should focus in their skincare routine, the heat / the sun? Hydration, hydration, hydration. When heat rises, that water evaporates from the skin so easily. You want those light layers of hydration, especially in the heat. So things like my Hydrate Mist, things like my Hydrate Serum, layering both of them. You know, a lot of people are like, do I need one or the other or both? In this instance, I would do both. Layer both. Layer vitamin C, layer an SPF. It might seem like a lot of layering, but those are going to be your antioxidants, your sun protectors, your hydrators, and nothing is heavy, all light, thin layers. You're going to want to wear protective clothing, a hat, stay out of the sun as much as possible. Fine to use acids and retinols, don't go crazy, because you are going to want to then be super, super, super protected from the sun. Every skin type needs to be protected. So that, but hydration, layers of hydration, avoiding extreme heat if possible, because that's not going to do the skin any favors. Wearing your sun protection and still using actives, but maybe instead of doing it every night, you do it twice a week, you do it 3 times a week. You're still going to get the result. It's still going to be cumulative, but just really be careful. And the last question that I have in this go around, there's other questions I know I didn't get to. Some are medical related and some I just want to get more information on for you from people like Narita or others. Oh, well, this is about under eye lines, which I would just revert you back to the last question. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoy these. It seems like you do enjoy the Q&A. And keep the questions coming, whether personal DM message on Instagram, down below here on YouTube, or on any post on Instagram. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and have a lovely day. Bye. Hi everyone, thanks for watching. You can subscribe by clicking the black JS circle down below so we can stay in contact and keep talking. To watch more videos, you can click on the link here, or possibly here. Thanks for watching. Bye.